The biggest animal in history survives on the smallest life. There's something in the ocean, so massive, so powerful, that nothing alive today can compare to it. Not dinosaurs, not sharks, not even the biggest predators you've ever seen. The blue whale, a creature so large, its heart alone can weigh as much as a car. Its tongue, heavier than an elephant. Its body, longer than a basketball court. But here's the part that doesn't make sense. This giant doesn't hunt, it doesn't chase prey, it doesn't fight for dominance, it doesn't need to, because instead of hunting big animals, it hunts something almost invisible. Krill, tiny shrimp-like creatures that drift through the ocean in massive clouds, each one just a few centimeters long. Individually, they're nothing, but together, they become the foundation of one of the greatest feeding systems on Earth. Now imagine this. You're deep in the ocean. The water is dark, quiet, endless. Then suddenly, a shadow. Not fast, not aggressive, just enormous. The blue whale doesn't attack. It glides, slow, controlled, almost like it's not even trying. And then, it opens its mouth. Not wide like a shark, wider, so wide, it can take in an entire school of fish and more. But it's not after fish, it's after something much smaller. As the whale moves forward, it engulfs a massive volume of water, sometimes over 70,000 liters in a single gulp. That's like swallowing an entire truck filled with ocean. Inside its mouth, something strange happens. Instead of teeth, the blue whale has baleen plates. Long curtain-like filters made of keratin, the same material as your hair and nails. When the whale closes its mouth, it pushes the water out. But the krill? They get caught. Thousands, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions in one feeding cycle. And then, the whale swallows. No chase, no struggle, no violence, just precision. And it repeats this process over and over again, hour after hour, day after day, until it consumes up to 4 tons of krill in a single day. Think about that. The largest animal to ever exist depends entirely on one of the smallest creatures in the ocean. If krill disappears, the blue whale cannot survive. It doesn't matter how big it is, how powerful, how unstoppable it looks. Without the giant falls. And here's where it gets even stranger. Blue whales don't just eat randomly. They target density. They search for the thickest krill swarms, the richest clouds of life. Using their instincts, and possibly even memory of ocean patterns, they navigate thousands of kilometers just to find the perfect feeding ground. Every movement is calculated. Every dive, intentional. Because feeding like this takes energy. A lot of it. Each lunge forward, each massive gulp of water, costs the whale more energy than almost any movement in the animal kingdom. Which means, if it misses, it loses. So despite its size, the blue whale lives on a delicate balance. Efficiency over aggression, precision over power. Now imagine the scale again. Millions of krill, vanishing in seconds, a silent giant, feeding without chaos. It's not a hunt. It's a system, and this system has existed for millions of years, long before humans, long before modern oceans, a perfect balance between the smallest life and the largest body. But today, that balance is fragile. Climate change affects krill populations, warming oceans shift their habitats, human activity disrupts migration patterns, and suddenly, the most powerful creature in the ocean is vulnerable. Not because it's weak, but because it depends on something fragile. And maybe that's the most powerful idea of all. In nature, size isn't everything. Dominance isn't everything. Even the greatest giant on Earth relies on something small, overlooked, and easy to ignore. So the next time you think power means being the biggest, the strongest, the most feared, remember this. The blue whale doesn't survive because it dominates the ocean. It survives because it understands it. And in a world obsessed with power, that might be the rarest strength of all.